Good evening, Red. Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?
Oh, you insulting tongue, it mocks my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really hired, Mr. Stark?
And welcome to another exciting episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles. And I don't know if... Oh, there he comes back. I was saying, I don't know if I kicked him off by accident or if he lost connection, but...
No, that was me. That was all me.
I am your host, Tim D-O-double-G. And join with me tonight is the man behind the sound effects at Agent_70 on Twitter.
What is up, everybody?
And also here we have at RowdyCat on Twitter.
Wakanda forever.
Nice.
And once again, we are the Comic Book Chronicles. You can go to our website, thekliqnation.com, where you can find previous episodes of the Comic Book Chronicles and comic book news. On our homepage are links to our social media accounts. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+. And also make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, and we are part of the Cold Slither Podcast Network. Go to cspn.us. Do it today. And make sure to buy some Comic Book Chronicles merchandise by going to shop.cspn.us. Remember, we record live every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you ever want to jump into the comic book conversation on social media, make sure to use the hashtags Comic Book Chronicles and CBChron. Tonight, we are going to start our comic reviews with a Dark Knight Metal tie-in, Batman Lost, #1. And I would have the covers up, but I'm on a different laptop. So let me see if I can pull those up a different way.
All right. So in the meantime, while Tim is pulling that up, just to set the stage, this book basically describes what is going on with Batman once the alternate dark multiverse versions of him emerge, and he's kind of shunted away and they're brought back in his place. So that's basically the stage for this issue.
And it's kind of a trip down memory lane as far as the history of Batman goes. We get to check in on his very first adventure in, I think it was an issue of Detective Comics where he made his debut.
Right.
Some Grant Morrison stories are linked in there as well, with his whole Batman dying but really being sent to relive his days in the past, catching up with his ancestors, Thomas Wayne and
Alan Wayne.
Alan Wayne. I knew it would start with the A. I want to say Arthur Wayne. Arthur Wayne. I knew that wasn't right. So yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a nostalgic trip down memory lane for fans of Batman. I guess, to be honest, this did start under Grant Morrison, with the whole Barbatos thing, right?
Right.
So I've always been uncomfortable tying Batman into some of the supernatural stuff because I felt it sort of took away from the detective part of his origin and his crime fighting, origin. So, forgive me, the lamp is actually I've got a desk lamp that is shining the bright red. I ended up getting the the foil cover, and it's like bouncing off my freaking eye. So I got to move the comic a little bit.
I have the review copy of that as well, the hard copy, and yes, it's a nice cover. My wife even commented on it the other night when I was reading it. It's like, oh,
yeah, it's like this deep red. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice like you said, trip down memory lane. I'm still uncomfortable with the supernatural aspect of Batman's origin or what's behind him as a motivating force, but it's a well told kind of this is your life type story, and this is what's been behind it all. I'm just not keen on the idea of it, but I'm sure there's lots of fans of Morrison's work and what King is doing to expand upon it, or Snyder is.
Is there a bat totem involved?
Kinda.
Oh no.
And apparently Barbatos is a character that's I guess been involved. Not, we were learning he's been involved in sort of creating Batman, but I didn't know that he appeared or has played a role in previous stories in Batman. I think like Grant Morrison used him apparently.
Exactly. Like this isn't like a new thing. It's just Snyder kind of expanding upon it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I was uncomfortable with it back then. Still kind of uncomfortable with it now, but it reads well because it does touch upon a lot of the things that we kind of vaguely remember and kind of put the pieces together again with lots of Morrison Easter eggs and some early Easter eggs too. So, it's definitely a well told story. What did you think of the ending?
I like the sort of retcon to his origin story. It made sense.
Oh, okay.
That's the part I'm talking about.
I see. Sure.
The ending. I mean, it just kind of left where we began, really.
Right. All right. So yeah. So just to backtrack a little bit. So you were saying in terms of retconning his origin somewhat, yeah, kind of pushing him in this direction.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What you have any issues with the ending?
Kind of, because I never thought I'd hear or read Batman ever say that, and I guess he was going for some shock value there.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd read that, and I'm wondering if that's ever been written coming out of Batman's mouth, in the past. So, but yeah, like we're skirting around a kind of a pivotal moment at the end of the story. So, without spoiling too much, that's what we're referring to. All right, so I guess now that we know where Batman is, we'll soon be going back to the Dark Knight stuff next week with more fun.
Yep. Actually, next week we get the final one shot for the Dark Multiverse Batman, and they're focusing on their ringleader, the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh, we're finally going to get that crazy cover by Fabok with like the rabid Robins. Okay. That's cool.
Yep, so that's coming up. What else do we want to jump to next?
You want to stick with DC and go to Mr. Miracle? I think everybody read it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We can. Miracle number 4. The trial of Scott Free.
And take it from someone who has done some leading questioning. This is some leading questioning by Orion here. Right? It sort of made me laugh when I read it. I was just like in the back of my head, like, yeah, it's a leading question. Objection, that's a leading question.
Well, not only that, just the fact that Orion's like he basically appointed himself Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like trials don't actually work like that here, but all right.
Well, you know, when it's a,
Where you come from.
yeah, I was gonna say when it's a monarchy, it sometimes does like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I did really like this.
with the vegetable tray,
It's still,
with the veggie tray,
What?
the veggie tray was my favorite part.
I know, right? This is like okay, that yeah, like they kept coming back to the veggie tray. I was like, yeah, I get it. It's kind of funny. It was like that one part, or Orion finally dipped into it, and I'm like, okay, so he succumbed at least.
Right. So yeah. So just as a quick recap, I guess we're dealing with what we're not sure. We're not 100% sure this is all happening. But
Right.
it's
For
probably
one,
story.
Darkseid is dead.
What's that?
I said for one, Darkseid is dead here,
Right.
along
Yeah.
with the Highfather.
Right. So, well, all that being said, you know, we've got some of the ramifications of all those actions, and members of the gods of New Genesis coming to basically hunt Scott Free down.
Which it's probably worth noting or recounting the fact that I think this pretty much started when and or if possibly Scott may have tried to attempt suicide.
Right.
So that I have a feeling if we learned anything from the Vision books, the things that get brought up at one point, it's probably going to come up again in some kind of way.
Yeah, it'll loop back. That's where it feels like this is all going. Everything sort of loops back on itself.
Mm-hmm. So we might even see the veggie tray again. But yeah. So somebody asked me. I was asked in my I'm not sure. Actually, it was the guy who owned it who asked like, was this book as good as all the hype?
So far, it is.
Yeah, and which is basically what I told him. And I was like, and he hadn't read Vision, so couldn't really give him a good reference outside of that. So
what I would say is it depends on what you've heard. Because if the hype is that it's really good, it is really good. But if it's not what you're expecting, you may not understand what's going on.
Yeah, I kind of told him like, yes, I did without going into the actual story. It's like, yeah, it's not a standard story. Definitely
not. It's definitely more. I hate to say, it's like it's a trope. It's definitely a psychological story. It's definitely something that requires a little bit of careful reading and maybe backtracking to see where you are. Because I find myself thinking, man, I got to reread that last issue to see how we got to this point. And it looks like I got an alternate cover. I didn't even realize it. It looks like I got the variant because I didn't look at the code, but then when I was looking at the regular cover, I was like, oh wait, I have a variant.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that cover.
Yeah, like I got this. It was in my pull list, so it's not like I asked for it. It's just there. So
that might be the subscription cover,
maybe.
Yeah, I've noticed that a couple times because like I end up picking up there's been books I've picked up. I was like, oh wait, that's not the actual.
Usually I complain about the story not really going anywhere, but I feel like each issue kind of picks a topic and sticks with it very well.
Yeah, like it's we may not know it yet, but it's definitely might be leading towards something.
Oh, it's definitely leading, yeah, because I think we've gotten in 4 issues, we really have kind of developed, I guess, the backstory to what may have been that attempt, by Scott Free to, to take his life. But this is what may have led up to it, like it may be like a cyclical thing. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But we find him, in this place where he's, trying to do, the work to defend New Genesis, but then with Granny Goodness getting involved, and there's some other kind of second, kind of mind trick stuff being played, and King even drops a big hint at the beginning that this might just all be a big mental trap.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I can say is like what this thing hasn't done is make me want to go hunt out some new Genesis stuff.
Right.
Curious in a couple of places, yes, but because that's a part of the DC universe, along with a few other things I am not well versed in. So, but the beautiful thing about it is like just like with Vision, we don't know where it's go, because if we did, we'd be like, yeah, okay, we see what's coming a mile away, and and might get deterred from that, but still read just to see if we were right. But like I said, in this and Vision, we don't know where it's going at all.
Absolutely.
I need to double check Green Lantern, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, because I want to say, I know pre-Rebirth they had this big storyline with the Lanterns and the New Gods, but I want to say it was a recent storyline also that had in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps that had them crossing paths with the New Gods.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like basically just to, I guess, sum up. This was just another, it's another good chapter, another interesting chapter in this story, because this trial of Scott Free, as I was alluding to, was kind of a farce. And we'll find out what happens now that the sentence has been passed.
But yeah, I also feel like I need to. I also feel like I need to catch up on New Gods history.
Okay. I don't know if it's that. Honestly, I don't think it's that necessary.
It's not like it's going that deep into it so far.
Like very surface stuff. Like like maybe you want to Google who Light Ray is.
Yeah.
What does he do exactly?
I'm not 100% sure. I just recognize the character.
That's a good question. I'm like, what does he do?
Right.
This time for an update to the DC Who's Who.
Because when I first saw him, I was thinking of what's the Eternal's name?
Makari?
Yeah. Like I was thinking of him, which I know there are kind of parallels between the two.
Right.
But I was like, wait, what's he doing here? Oh wait, that's not.
Gotcha. All I know about Makari is that he's fast.
Right.
He's like one of the guys that's like do you remember, was there a Quasar issue where they had like a race for like all like a super fast
I think I do, yeah.
Oh my god, that's a that's a callback, right? That's a deep cut.
Shit, yeah.
I had a buddy that read Quasar, so he's the one that like kind of clued me into that issue. I think I read it as a back issue or something.
I read Quasar because I enjoyed that book when it was out.
All right, so that trip down memory lane aside, what's next? Come on, where is he, President Bartlett?
What's next?
Thank you.
Tim, you want to do Titans? Stay on the
DC. I can.
Stay on the train.
Titans 17.
Yep.
So this is the continuation of the Who is the Traitor on the Titans? Is it I'm forgetting the Omen, the redhead Omen.
Right.
Is it
was it Wally West, which we know is not because he's out of the picture?
Is it Arsenal?
Was it Nightwing?
Is it
find out?
Donna Troy?
No.
Yes.
Kind of right. Find out it was none of them, but yes, it was one of them.
Kind of was her future self, at least.
Or yeah, at least that's how she's been portrayed. So I'm like,
future self, Choya.
Sure.
For people that are familiar with that time in DC history.
Wait, so that's a thing that's happened before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I don't know much about it. I just know that character's appeared before.
Gotcha.
Wait, so who's the traitor?
A future version of Donna Troy.
Oh, okay.
When she goes by Choya.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oops. Stop sharing. Trying to update my sheet here. Let me move this over here. Okay. So we had the different artists than Brett Booth. I actually like the person. I can't think of their name right now, though.
Here, I got it right here, actually.
June something June. I mean,
Minkyu Jung.
Yeah.
thank you. Very good job. She's done a couple of DC books here and there, like fill-in issues. She might have done like she did maybe the Titans annual. I think she might have done. But good stuff here. The story is still ongoing, so no resolution yet. But yes, Troya is the perfect master. She goes on to talk about it focuses a lot on Donna Troy's sort of messed up, convoluted history, how she was thought to believe to be a real person, but she was really made on the mascara out of clay, and it goes a lot into the how like society has portrayed her, or because her being she's basically immortal, so future Troya has had to watch her friends grow old and die while she stays the same, and sort of not being able to reconcile with these feelings, and the world letting her down and humanity letting her down, yada yada.
Yikes.
Yeah, which also part of it brings up the fact that that Wally West is in the picture, or I should say, young Wally West Kid Flash is in the picture, while OG Wally West is presumably dead.
But maybe coming back.
Yeah,
Of course he's coming back because, of course,
That's the way it is.
pretty much. So, which I honestly had the same question as Troya, like last issue or whatever it was. Like, wait, why is Kid Flash here?
Yeah, he showed up what 2 issues ago.
Well, yeah, I think it was last issue. I think either way, it doesn't matter. But and we get some sort of an answer because he says like the Speed Force called him, which I'm like, oh okay. But then again, what happened with OG Wally West? I guess that kind of makes sense. So that might be part of the way that Wally West comes back, I suspect, or OG Wally West comes back.
Gotcha. Just as a quick aside, Tim Dog was just referencing the convoluted origins of Donna Troy, and they've really kind of mucked this character up ever since the seminal story, one of my favorite stories in the New Teen Titans run, Who is Donna Troy, from issue number 38. For people of a certain vintage, go back and if you can track this issue down and read it, it's such a good story. It's such a heartfelt story. It's pretty much just Robin, Dick Grayson and Donna Troy, in the story, and they're doing some like old school detective work, and it's really a good issue. It's one of my favorites of the run of Wolfman and Perez. So it's a shame that because obviously that was pre-crisis, and that's when it all went to hell. So I kind of longingly and fondly remember when it wasn't so so convoluted. But anyone who wants to kind of get a hold on where it started, go back and see if you can't track that down, either through trade paperback or back issue.
All right. We can keep the DC. Actually, I think is that last one that all of us have read for DC?
So, because I only read 2.
Because I can keep my
That was the only one.
to rapid fire.
Okay. All right. What else did everyone read? Let's see. Doesn't look like we have all that much in common left.
We can jump around.
Yeah.
You read Daredevil. That was a big issue this week, I guess.
I did read Daredevil. So let me just do this very quickly. So Daredevil number
595.
595. It is the legacy issue, the legacy kickoff. The story arc is called Mayor Fisk Part 1, and that obviously spoils what happens towards the end of the last issue and coming into this issue. And ultimately, this is sort of all coming in the aftermath of Secret Empire. Basically, in a nutshell, they were kind of teasing this in Secret Empire, in that all the street level stuff happening in New York portrayed Wilson Fisk as being kind of a street level kind of a provider of, I hate to say this, it's kind of like a warlord, in that he's providing protection and providing services, health services and food services for people trapped within the Dark Force bubble. And I think he used that to catapult himself into the consciousness of New York City. And Foggy basically fills in Matt Murdock in this issue as to how this all went down in the first few pages, and it makes so much sense. And it obviously draws upon a lot of current day events. Charles Soule definitely weaves in a couple of current day events and the current political climate into the story. Ultimately, what ends up happening is, and it's kind of predictable. But it makes, it fits together based on what Matt Murdock's status is. He's currently an assistant DA in the Manhattan DA's office, and Fisk is basically turning his Matt Murdock's crusade to get superheroes kind of recognized in courts of law as members, as parts of the criminal justice process, and having them be acceptable as witnesses. He's kind of turned that on its head by ordering the DA's office to crack and the NYPD to crack down on vigilantism. And it's the Kingpin's way of kind of trying to reverse the effect of that particular court decision. And it's, it makes perfect sense. And Matt basically kind of walks himself into a couple of traps during this issue. But, at the end of the day, it's a nice kickoff to what's bound to be a pretty good story that involves the Kingpin, masking himself with the cloak of legitimacy. He's basically, disguising his activities by being mayor of New York. So, we'll see where this goes, but this is a pretty good, it's a pretty good start. It's, like I said, somewhat predictable, and I'm kind of spoiling how predictable it might be, but ultimately it's still a good kickoff to the story arc, because we're really not sure where this is going to go from here.
Good deal.
Yep. Yeah, it's a candidate for Click of the Week for me. I'm considering it.
Click of the Week. Are we in rapid fire, or Ryder, you have any you want to get into?
Actually, yes. Actually, I do have one to get into. Actually, two. Well, no, one, because that one can kind of go. Star Wars number 38. And 'tis the season, because folks, if you've seen Rogue One, a Star Wars story, welcome to your tie-in story, or a tie-in story, I should say. Not necessarily a tie-in story, but just more like a mission. So this arc starts.
Is this Kieron Gillen's first issue?
Yes.
Okay.
I need to probably use this as a jumping back on point.
Well, you could, because I don't think there was nothing in this issue that ties back to anything previously. However, it does tie back to, at the very least, one or two things. Well, one in Rogue One, and two in, I think, Darth Vader Annual, of which Gillen did.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, so our ragtag crew of rebels ends up going to Jeddah, which, keep in mind, this is at the point after Rogue One happened, so that planet is what it is. And they're going there for the same reason Rogue One kind of did. Actually, I take it back. Well, yes, that's actually, there's truth to that. So the Empire is on Jeddah trying to get Kyber crystals, as much as they did in Rogue One. But they're having troubles doing that because there's still some sort of uprising, and you have not disciples, you have followers of Saw Gerrera still kind of fighting the fight there. But our rebel team is there trying to get their help with the Alliance not again unlike what happened in Rogue One. But Star Rare is no longer there, but they get whoever is left, including one person that we did see in Rogue One, whose name I have no idea who it is, but it was like his second in command or whatever the case may be. And of course, there are people who, there's at least one who's like a disciple of the Wills, who Donnie Yen's character, who was a guardian of the Wills, was protecting or trying to protect, because I think it's basically like Temple Guardians and
Underwater.
Emma?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, weird. That hasn't happened in a minute.
You back?
How about now?
Better.
Cool.
There's
So,
an
yeah,
echo somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure that might stop. That usually happens. But anyway, like I said, they brings up the Guardians of the Will and that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you are a Star Wars fan and wanted something to tie into Rogue One, this is kind of it, because there's a person that shows up. I have no idea who this person is, but they were on Yavin, and they would have been on Scarif had they not been in sick bay, but apparently they're not. So, like I said, this issue is kind of full of references to Rogue One, and again, going back to the reference to Darth Vader Annual, there's a person that comes because of the fact that the Empire is trying to mine kyber crystals for whatever odd reason at this point. A person whose planet has had experience in mining is brought in as a consultation from the Empire to help on that part. And that person is the queen of whatever planet Darth Vader ends up going to and taking over in Darth Vader. I believe it was Darth Vader Annual. And I can't remember what number of the annual is, which I don't think he only had one in that version, which again, Gillen wrote. So you got that. And that's pretty much how this issue kind of goes. I had to bring up this joke because at the beginning of the issue, when our rebels get to Jeddah, there's a firefight taken off, and of course Luke springs into action, which means there was Jedi on Jeddah action. Thank you very much. Have a good week. But they get away, and like I said, the rest of the issues ends up going on, like I said. So yeah.
Okay, I just have one thing to add to this. I am so far behind on this. I am multiple issues behind. I really would like to catch up on Aaron's run on this book before I jump into where Kieran Gillen wants to start. I realize I'm probably in a similar boat to where Tim Dog is. He wants to use this as possibly a good jumping back on point. Yeah. So one, I was going to ask, is this a good jumping on point? And two, kind of confirm what you said. And two, damn, the Sal LaRocca art is awesome.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. So to answer your question, yes, you can jump on here because, like I said, it has nothing to do with anything that has happened in the past few issues, or is bringing up anything that is has come up in Star Wars before that I can remember. The only thing I can even think of, which I don't know if this is going to play any part into it or not, but so Chewie's not there, but Han is talking to him some kind of way, I guess over comm or whatever the case may be. And Han was kind of asking him, why is he not, basically, why is he not there? And he didn't, which I thought was kind of weird at first. I was like, okay, he wasn't here and wasn't really thinking about it until that part got brought up. But I guess Chewie's suspiciously absent for some odd reason. But I don't think even that kind of plays into anything. Or it might be one of those single issues that in the last few issues that has come up. But even that is not nothing that's going to tie in, or maybe it's going to something that's going to come back up later. Who knows?
Right.
But for some reason he wasn't there, and they brought it out. So outside of that, no, there's nothing that you need to popping up. But yeah, Solid Oracle's art is great in this. There was a couple of spots that was kind of weird, and then I'm assuming this was like some photo referencing going on or something.
Definitely,
because there were some faces that looked just a little too too realistic, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Oh, yeah, I think LaRocca definitely using photo reference and or Photoshop to do some of the likenesses.
Yeah,
but it's better than freaking Greg Land.
Well, and it doesn't.
Wait, hold on. Shots fired at Greg Land.
Well, and it doesn't happen through and through because like there's a couple of shots, like there's like a panel of Luke or 2 panels of Luke that are like that, and then the Empire, the couple of Empire people in a panel that happens with, but the rest of it is just straight. So, and like that, yeah, Solid Oracle's art is gorgeous as always.
Yeah, see, it's good photo reference. Shots fired. Anyway.
But not sure who was referenced from any of them, especially the Luke one though, because that one didn't even look like Mark Hamill.
Oh, seriously? It might be the coloring too.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the other 2 people, who knows whatever reference those 2 were from, because
it might just be comic art, right?
Probably. Like that, we only seen the Queen person one other time, and and the other guy that who's like I guess he's a general or something. That comes in with her. Never seen him before that I remember. So, but yeah, like I said, it is a good issue if you want a nice clean Rogue One reference. And I don't know how long this arc is going to be, but hey, there you go.
All right, so I guess we can go into official rapid fire mode, Tim.
We can.
Here we go. Let's spin up the cannon. All righty, rapid fire mode. Let's see.
I'll get out of the way while we're here.
Oh, go ahead.
First Strike, Transformers #1. Nope, I'm not starting with that one. Sorry.
Oh no.
Nah, whatever. I've already brought it up. So Cup, RC, Mayday, and Action Man go after some ninjas who kidnapped and I spelled that wrong. 2 human Cybertronian hybrids. If you haven't been keeping up with First Strike, and I don't know anybody who has outside of loosely me, they are on. I think this still takes place after G.I. Joe, and no, it's not even the G.I. Joe one. It's one of the First Strike. I think it's First Strike, the main stuff. Regardless, they're still on Cybertron. Some stuff go down that messes with the conference that they're having there and causes confusion. But in the midst of that, there's these 2 human Cybertronian hybrids that get kidnapped because one of them has this talisman that could possibly destroy the planet and whatever else. When that kind of comes into play here, because I don't know where that talisman came from. It's probably something from Transformers, which I still need to catch up on. Don't know. Regardless, like I said, you got this little team of Transformers and humans that are going after these folks to try to get them, and they do that, and they meet with a couple of bad guys. One of which is Action Man, who happens to be on scene with this bad guy, and some other person I'm not too familiar with. But again, yeah, it is what it is. And as I said in my notes, as we will talk about in probably a minute, this story is, with everything I just said, is still less sillier than Masters of Kung Fu. And on that note, let's get to Masters of Kung Fu real quick. So Masters of Kung Fu 126. Shang Tsung's.
Yeah, let's do that.
Shang Tsung's Day Off. This is, before we go any further, written by CM Punk. And this is where I say, dear Marvel, DC, whoever else, I know you have celebrities who are fans of stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean they always need to get a book.
It's a one-shot.
With the section. And still, he's written stuff for them before, though.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't care if they say they're a fan of this character or not. They don't seem to be very good ones. But anyway, So, like I said, this is Shang-Tsung's day off. He and his pet monkey are trying to have some ice cream when suddenly these ninjas come and attack him, trying to get the monkeys.
Shang Tsung, and I'm like, no, this isn't the guy from Mortal Kombat.
Excuse me, I didn't even notice I said that. Thank you.
I'm like, talk about mixing genres. We're already talking about mixing wrestling with comics, right?
I know, right? I apologize about that, but so yeah, these ninjas come presumably to get the monkey and Shang-Chi for reasons because this doctor whose name is, get this, Mel Prasis, wants them because he used to work for the zoo, working with the animals, and he's tried to teach them kung fu. But I guess his plan in kidnapping Shang-Chi was to put Shang-Chi's body in in an octopus's brain.
Let's go over that plot one more time, just for
no, it's not.
Just for giggles. Just for giggles. This
Okay.
dude is looking to transplant Shang-Chi's kung fu brain into an octopus to make it a kung fu octopus. And he's been
because before that,
the art of kung fu.
Yes, because before that, while he was working at the zoo, and what got him fired from the zoo was he was trying to teach the animals kung fu and doing all kind of other stuff with them. I don't know, some animal abuse. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
And apparently, this started where Shang-Chi jumps into this is a meme that you've probably seen before about the rat eating pizza.
Yeah. Well, that was real.
Huh?
That was real.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But that, like, wait a minute, that was the plot point you used to kind of to launch, get into all this, huh? All right. So yeah, it's the story. It was a one shot. It's stupid. And Shang-Chi deserves way better than this.
It does deserve way better. It does. Honestly, this is not going to be one of those books that gets hyped up as a shining example of comic book art, but
right. Don't get me wrong, it was amusing, still stupid.
Yes, I think that is the perfect way to summarize and assess this book.
Yeah. And I think finally, which I believe, no, we talked about that. Oh, Spirits of Vengeance #2.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you got.
Yep. That's my last one. So we have Johnny Blaze, Damon Hellstrom, which I still can't get over this version of him, and Blade on the basically searching for information as to what's going on, which they get to this used bookstore, and of course a fight breaks out because the bookstore owner wants Johnny Blaze because of this piece of silver that he ends up getting, and the piece of silver ends up getting a larger thing because there's a weapon that demons seem to be using to finally end the war between angels and demons. Looks like that has been going on forever and ever and ever and ever. Which, reading this, I'm thinking, this would probably make a pretty decent Blade movie.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I skimmed this real quick. I'm gonna have to reread the first issue again, but yeah, it does sound like a premise for a pretty good Blade movie.
Yeah, so the crux of the books is them kind of going and getting information. Then you see kind of some stuff from the other side, and then Satana, who also is building this book, finally shows up, and I did not know she was Damon Hellstrom's sister, but I guess sure, she's the daughter of the devil. Sure, makes sense.
That works.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. All right. So, Tim, would you mind if I went ahead with my rapid fire?
Go for it.
All right. So, very quickly, we covered Master of Kung Fu. So all I've got left are 2 books. I'm going to skim over Miss Marvel #24 because I do not want to spoil too much for our own Roddy Cat. But this is the resolution of the last few issues. There's plenty of current day references that G. Willow Wilson drops into this book. The art on this is by Diego Olortegui, and he definitely, as we've always said, which is essential to this book, he definitely maintains a very similar look and feel to this book as and when it comes to the previous art, and not diverging too much from the style. And the colorist Ian Herring keeps things very consistent. In terms of the story, this is the culmination of the past few issues, with the Red Dagger appearing in New Jersey. And I know Roddy Cat is familiar with what's been happening, so there are references to a certain Denzel Washington movie. There really are. And we've been
thought about, so I skimmed that part recently, and I was like, I thought about you when you said it, because I think you mentioned that when we last talked about this
yes,
book.
exactly. So it's nice that G. Willow Wilson is thinking along the same lines. So like I said, I don't want to spoil the ending. I don't, but you kind of, just based on solicits and some of the news and some of the covers that we see upcoming, that there might be some changes in store for the status quo for Kamala, at least for the near term. So I'll leave it at that. And I'll get to.
I want to say something real quick about that, because, like I said, I did kind of skim through it.
Sure.
So that thing she did in the beginning, it's still impossible for her.
Yeah, because physically it wasn't possible. I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah,
I fault the artist for not depicting that better.
Right.
Because there's a way to do that, but not with just one car. So
exactly, like, yeah, if it was just one car, I was like, okay, I see that kind of going off a little bit better, but there was a bunch of them. So
yeah, I'm glad that you picked up on that little snafu. We should send a letter to G. Willow Wilson and be like, we want a no prize. How did we explain this?
I know, right? Like, I get it, comics, but that's, even for comics, that was going a little far.
Right. So the last book I was going to talk about rapidly under rapid fire is Moon Knight. Number 188 is the return of Moon Knight under Marvel Legacy in a storyline titled Crazy Runs in the Family. And this is part 1 of, I'm not sure how many parts. I don't know how long Moon Knight's going to be back for, but this is definitely an offbeat story, because it is it's basically the story of Moon Knight's psychiatrist at what is the name of Ravencroft? Is it Ravencroft? It is Ravencroft. That's like the equivalent of Arkham, right?
Sounds right.
I think so.
Go with it.
Right. So that's the psychiatrist that treated Mark Spector and has kind of, I guess, maintained a relationship with Mark Spector. So this particular psychiatrist comes across someone who she kind of thinks is suffering from something where she could kind of use what she's learned from Mark Spector and apply it to him, and it goes south really fast. And we're not 100% sure if this particular character is also related as closely to the Egyptian god pantheon as Moon Knight is, but I guess that's what's implied, because the title of the story is Crazy Runs in the Family. So this was a pretty it's a pretty interesting take on Moon Knight's origin from someone else's perspective. So that's what made this book so interesting, is that we don't really see Mark Spector in this issue all that much. It's really about someone else kind of describing, what kind of led to the creation of Moon Knight, and how Moon Knight is, been diagnosed with either this dissociative disorder or multiple personality disorder. I'm not sure, which one really sticks with him, but ultimately it's a nice kind of, not a psychoanalysis of Mark Spector, but it's an overview. It's a broad picture of what Mark Spector is, and what a potential kind of arch rival could be like. So that's what's cool about this, and it's a potential click of the week for me.
I was under the impression that they had not ended this book yet, but I guess they must have.
They might have gone on hiatus, like they put it on hiatus until Legacy.
Right, because I know we had an issue like a few months ago. That's when I was looking up. Yeah, it was the last issue before this was in May. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, that they would put it on hiatus, like just to give it a chance to reboot, especially with the new writer, Max Bemis. He's a novelist, I think. Am I mistaken?
Yes, he is.
It's well written. I'll give you that. So I would recommend it to you guys. Like I said, it's definitely a new reader friendly, and ultimately it's it's well written. So that's why it's a candidate for Click of the Week for me.
Okay, let me run down mine right quick. Won't be able to put any covers up since I'm going to read. But Detective Comics 968 is the finale of The Lonely Place of Living, I believe is the name of the story arc.
Yep.
Especially the Bat family, most of the Robins, and Batman and Tim Drake, and the detective team facing off against the Batman of the future, future Tim Drake, and sort of the battle of philosophies between the two Drakes. And in the finale, the future Tim is sent back to his time without having taken out Batwoman, because that was his mission since he got freed from Mr. Oz's prison, was to kill Batwoman, because according to him, she was to blame for all the bad things to happen in the future. And that's kind of where that ended. So no one's dead. He was sent back to his time because of time traveling physics and his body being shunned away at the last minute. Royals number 10. I still like this book. It's in a weird spot to me. Like, I like Al Ewing and all his sort of trippy sci-fi stuff, but I almost feel like now it's getting a little too convoluted even for me. And I feel like it also came with the shift in the creative art team with them bringing on Javier Rodriguez, I believe his last name. His art is good, but it's like the progenitors who are the creators of the Creed, they're these like humongous, I can't even tell if they're like robots or this weird alien races. And I don't know, it's just kind of, it's weird and starting to weird me out somewhat. It's probably just me overthinking things, but I need the story to like sort of it feels like the story needs to refocus a little bit, but still holding on hope that I'm still impressed with the finale whenever the series ends. Spider-Man Deadpool number 23 is the first part of Spider-Man versus Deadpool, where it picks up on the threads from both Amazing Spider-Man and Deadpool coming out of Secret Wars, where he killed Coulson. So Spider-Man Peter Parker is living on Mockingbird's couch, just like he is in Amazing Spider-Man. When he turns on the TV and sees a TV ad for Deadpool, that shows Deadpool trying to sell stolen SHIELD hardware because SHIELD has been shut down. So he's trying to sell a helicarrier that he came across. And to Spider-Man, this is the final straw. He believes Wade Wilson needs to be brought in. Of course, he could just say he needed to be brought in because he killed or murdered Coulson, but nope, it's a TV ad that sends Spider-Man saying enough is enough. So he goes to try to capture Deadpool. They fight a little bit, then they come to realize Deadpool says that he never filmed a TV commercial, so someone's out there impersonating him to ruin his name, I guess. So they decide to team up to try to bring this person down. And the question would be, once they either catch this imposter or the story just ends, will Wade turn himself in? Or, where does the story go next? Because I'm already thinking ahead on this. And finally, Uncanny Avengers number 29. It's the Unity Squad versus the Unstoppable Juggernaut. A member of the team gets injured in the process. And I believe next issue is the finale before it combines with New Avengers, US Avengers, and Avengers for the Avengers No Surrender storyline. And that is it.
Cool. All right.
Before we go any further, let me get to a little errata here. Max Bemis, apparently we thought he was a novelist. I don't think he was. What he was the lead singer of a band called Say Anything.
Okay, so talk about what we're getting, what we were referring to earlier, huh?
But on that note, he's actually not. This is not the first thing he has written for Marvel. He's written X-Men, the worst X-Men ever. He did. Looks like he did a story in the A+X. He also did that Full Color book. So he's been doing for the last couple of years. He's actually been doing a little bit of Kill Strike. Okay. And he's done some stuff for some couple other books for a couple other companies.
All right. So
he's been out there actually writing, but I mean,
unlike a certain MMA guy that we were referring to.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So click of the week time. Hold on. All right. So we're in click of the week time now. Seriously, because I'm having a couple of issues figuring out a click of the week this week. You guys go ahead if you can, or interject if you have yours right away.
I'm almost still willing to go with that Miss Marvel, even though I've only read a couple of pages, but I'm not going to do that because that's not. It's just that the rest of the stuff is kind of slightly underwhelming. Go ahead, Tim.
Mine is going to be Mr. Miracle number 4.
Nice.
Yeah, that would probably be one of them if that is indeed the case.
I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go with Moon Knight number 188.
Nice.
Good pick.
Yep. You know what? I'm gonna go with Tim on this one. Like Star Wars would probably be one to do for the references to Rogue One, and that would be the only reason why I would be doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Mr. Miracle 4 also.
Yeah, it's too bad it's not a clean sweep. I liked it. It's just I had a better time reading Moon Knight. Maybe it's because it's the recency bias that people talk about. It's like, oh, this is brand new, as opposed to like the 4th issue of the continuing story.
Right. And Masters of Kung Fu can get the gas face.
Oh no! I guess we have our music for tonight.
Actually, there was another one. There might be another one in the news when we get to it in a minute.
Anyway, okay. So as we transition into our news section, allow me to read our first ad of the night. Help keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcasts Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, Marvel Legends, Black Panther series, etc., etc. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Click Nation's Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today.
All righty.
To answer Matt Wang's question on Twitter, wow, no love for our Asian brother Shang-Chi? No, absolute love for Shang-Chi. Just no love for the book that was just written about him.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway.
Ready?
You got it. Roll.
Got it. Oh, wait, let me... Yep. We're... Piff. Get off Twitter and get to the news. Go for it.
Paramount Pictures, Hasbro enter production and distribution pact.
Yeah, just a little longer in the story of, hey, Hasbro's trying to get their movie cinematic thing off the ground. So
I'm probably gonna run through a bunch of these.
Yep. Do it. Stop.
Autoplay.
Yep.
Let's see. Crossbones spotted on Avengers 4 set, and Robert Downey Jr. were spotted in SWAT gear on set.
God damn it.
Chris Hemsworth confirms that Thor's spoiler will return for Infinity War.
So here we're thinking, well, you know what? If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok yet, then it's not what you would think, even though you would first think what showed up in the trailers.
Okay. Thor Ragnarok's iconic skirt scene comes directly from the comics. The entire cast of Thor puts on a budget live play for unsuspecting moviegoers.
Again, also could be another spoiler to the movie if you think about it in a certain light.
Kevin Feige explains the big MCU mythos change slipped into Thor Ragnarok. Tessa Thompson would be totally down to play Alana in the Saga movie.
Which I'm not sure if the creators of Saga would want a movie to happen. From what I've read,
From what I read too, I don't think they're keen on even making that into a movie.
Which is sad, because that would be a strange one to do.
Black Panther takes on Wolverine in an ambitious fan trailer.
Except that it's more of a Wolverine trailer with a little bit of Black Panther's trailer in it. Apparently, a Wolverine fan must have made this, but at the same time, there is not much Black Panther
exactly
to go out there, so you kind of can't. But still, it's a little favorite one way. So
Han Solo, Ron Howard reshot nearly all of the Star Wars spinoff. Marvel Cinematic Universe crosses 5 billion mark domestically.
More money.
There's a report that Disney and Fox were working on a deal, but now it's dead, but reportedly may be back on again.
Yeah, just because we heard about it being that it might be dead, it's never, usually deals like that never really stop.
Yeah.
We hear about it when they get to a certain point on it. So there's a couple of things actually about this report. So obviously we would think that Disney would want to, because there were people who have been asking, why would Disney want Fox? So we would know what we would want them to get it for, because of the Fantastic Four and X-Men's license. But apparently, I think the next issue, the next one goes into that a little bit. But apparently Disney's issue in Fox was more, which is less about X-Men and more about Futurama, and not necessarily Futurama, but streaming, because they're trying to do their streaming service, which we got some news later on about that also. And apparently there's rumblings that it's not necessarily about that and more that. And there's also this other article about that said that if the Disney deal would go through, that would kill the Simpsons. They would get rid of the Simpsons at long last. So there could be a couple of different things in this deal that we don't know too much about, if that is the case. So
Simmons will never say never to playing Spider-Man's J. Jonah Jameson again.
Ching, ching.
That's a good thing.
Totally.
Gotham recast Poison Ivy with the Flash actor.
Yeah, so Golden Glider is now playing Poison Ivy.
Arrowverse first Crisis on Earth X teaser released. Legends of Tomorrow cast Fringe's John Noble as Malice.
Good pick.
Legends of Tomorrow trailer teases a mysterious time-traveling corpse.
Okay.
Stranger Things star posts and delete scripted Nightwing tweet.
Yeah, so that's like the jerk, whatchamacallit, brother of Mad Max.
I thought it was a Power Ranger actor. He's in Stranger Things too.
Yeah. Yes. Both.
Yeah. Still haven't begun the second season of Stranger Things. So
what?
I haven't watched the first one, and I'm probably not going to. And still haven't watched Power Rangers either.
What? What? Seriously, people, you guys are missing out. You really should watch Stranger Things 1 and 2.
Eh.
Oh, come on, man. It's like all 80s all the time. This is like Cold Slither podcast, fodder right there. Where's classic and eclectic when I need them?
Yeah, it'll be there. I might get to it. Who knows?
Shout out to classic. I'm gonna put the call out to see if we can't reform the old school CSP to do some Stranger Things stuff.
Tim's too busy making the news, not trying to put it out again.
Trying to post the news.
Yeah. But anyway.
Okay. Nightwing director hasn't begun search for Dick Grayson just yet.
So yeah, this was basically kicking off of that last one. So
Batman and Aquaman are not fast friends. A new Justice League clip. New Justice League clips show Steppenwolf. Superman gets
clips from Batman Superman deleted scenes, and I think one from Justice League. But sure, go into whatever.
Superman gets his due. A new Justice League tease. Jason Momoa basically confirms Justice League as a Marvel movie now.
Apparently, Justice League will have end credit scenes.
Am I jumping to the second page now?
Yep.
Oh, this is all cinematic news. Okay, Flashpoint. Warner Brothers close to hiring a director. The Flash, elongated man gets a humbling super suit and new promo.
Honey, where's my super suit?
Wentworth Miller announces exits from CW's Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash.
Which there's been rumblings of this for a little bit now, and now it's confirmed.
Shazam casting. Asher Angel will play Billy Batson.
All right.
There's a report of Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam may debut in Suicide Squad 2.
It's weird that Andy Asher dude kind of looks like Grant Gustin, but anyway, could be the hairstyle. But
It's true.
Yeah. And Dwayne Johnson, yeah, we don't need a Suicide Squad 2. That's all I'm gonna say.
What? They're gonna put him in. Oh, jeez, man! It's
a report. We don't know if it's we don't know. It's a report
like this that like what's funny about this. Just very quickly, what's funny about where we are on the calendar? We are so close to Justice League coming out, and I have plenty of like comic book movie going friends who are just like, "Yo, so are we doing this? Are we going to watch Justice League opening night?" And I said, "Yeah, because we kind of need to talk about it on the show." But everyone's got this trepidation. And when I read stuff like this, and I'm like, it's obviously well founded.
Yeah, I mean, they could have put him in Justice League, and I'm hearing positive things from Justice League going into it. But I guess we'll talk about that next week after we see it.
Exactly.
This next story is news to me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon reboot features African American April O'Neil.
Yes, Cat Graham of Vampire Diaries is voicing the April O'Neil in the new reboot.
She was a cutie.
Apparently, they're changing the Turtles because Leonardo, who is usually the leader, is not. It's going to be Raphael.
Oh God, to be edgy and gritty. I think they're a little late.
So yeah, it's interesting.
I guess I'm more shocked that they're rebooting the series on the same network.
I mean, that happens. I mean, hey, look, a lot of people like that Nickelodeon one, and it's not like they haven't done something similar on other networks with other properties. So,
oh yeah, I have to go back and read this article. Samuel L. Jackson returns as Elijah Price in new Glass set photos.
That's cool.
Yeah, tangentially superhero related, but still.
Avengers cast raises $500,000 for Puerto Rico hurricane relief.
Nice.
Chadwick Boseman chose his Black Panther accent to make a point about white supremacy.
Yeah, Chad.
That was a well thought out statement.
Mm-hmm.
Thor Ragnarok used amazing new tech to show off Valkyrie's battles.
Was a good looking scene.
Spoiler: Chris Hemsworth shares Mjolnir in Memoriam video. I can't talk now.
Also, could be spoilers, but it's not like you don't see what happens to Mjolnir in
trailers. Yeah.
Trailers, so.
Another report: future Marvel TV shows to hit Disney's streaming service, not Netflix.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while now.
I feel like that's not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not so much.
Yeah, these next few stories are all kind of hit today. So,
or today and yesterday, but yeah.
So, and then the Star Wars live action TV series coming to the Disney streaming service. The Disney streaming service will cost substantially less than Netflix.
It'll probably be like $1 less or so, or
$1. I'm like, what is substantial? Because Netflix, to be honest, isn't that expensive. It's expensive if you have to, budget it with like cable and everything else.
I mean, Netflix is like $10, $11, depending on the plan. Probably more than that, I think, in the base package, as opposed to, I think they've been saying this, and this article kind of says between, well, actually, this article says between 8 and 13. And the Disney thing, which they said this before, looks to be about 6.
Okay.
So like that, it's only going to be like $1 or so. It's
right. So they're roughly saying that it could be roughly half the price, depending on the plan that you're on.
Yep.
New Runaways poster showcases the team's powers.
Hey, that's coming soon.
Yeah.
That's this month, right?
Mm-hmm. On Hulu.
Justice League is next week.
Yeah. And Punisher.
I need to buy my I need to buy my tickets.
And the Punisher Netflix series starts that weekend.
Friday, yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Stranger Things 2 is gonna have to probably.
Oh no.
Oh wait, what happened?
That's funny.
I think that was it.
No, you have.
No, I did. I'm sorry.
Here we got more. Character posters for Black Panther.
Yeah, these are awesome. These totally made me pre-order my my Black Panther Marvel Legends set.
I was gonna say your toys.
That's a big lie because I would have done it anyway.
I was gonna say you were gonna do that anyway. Don't even. But yeah, these posters are dope. So
yeah, I like that they have a battle cry. Was this a battle cry from like the Priest or the Hudlin books or anything like that?
I honestly don't remember.
Because this makes this, you know what? Rant time, rant on. This is why we should have an Avengers Assemble. I guess they're waiting until freaking Infinity to do it. But this is why we needed to have Avengers Assemble, because Wakanda Forever sounds awesome.
Well, as you said, Whedon wasn't too crazy about the Avengers battle cry, so yeah, I guess the brothers will do it. The Russo brothers will.
I hope so. I really hope so, because you've seen, you guys have all seen you guys have seen the blooper, right, where Black Widow jumps behind Cap when he goes Avengers, and then she jumps back and goes Assemble.
No, I actually haven't.
You seen that? It's on the blooper reel for Age of Ultron. So it's included. You might be able to find it on YouTube.
I had it, and the featurettes are with it. So
yeah. So yeah, that's actually there. So they know, they know that they're really angering some of the loyal comic fans. But yeah, I need to hear that. Damn it.
There's a cosplayer who also did this particular. If you look in the video, look in the poster of T'Challa, that did this, I think, exact pose in his cosplay. I think well before this happened. I don't know if maybe this picture had come up somewhere else around there, but it was pretty much the same, a similar picture. So it was cool. Anyway, let's move along.
Moving on.
Ryan Johnson writer, director of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, to create all new Star Wars trilogy.
It's funny because he got on Twitter. It was like, I hope you guys. I hope you guys really like The Last Jedi, but I really hope you like it now. And it was because of this.
Yeah, he's about to drop all three more movies.
Mm-hmm.
4 more, right?
3 more with this, I guess. Okay, I guess 4 if you count Last Jedi not dropping. Yeah, sure.
Right.
So it's also interesting, but we won't need into that. So
okay.
Like they kind of give him this without this movie even coming out yet. And yeah. Anyway. Sure.
D'Onofrio begins work on Daredevil season 3.
Nice. Welcome back, Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Transformers Titans return gets a trailer.
Go away, Transformers.
I totally forgot this is the Machinima Hasbro thing that I totally forgot was out there on YouTube so this is for the official trailer for the 2nd season. I heard the first season it was all right. But you got, the voice talents you want, including a couple you didn't expect. So go check it out.
And Deadly Class Sci-Fi sets full cast for comic-based drama pilot.
Yep, and they already got the cast, including Benjamin Wong, Benjamin Wadsworth, don't know him, but Lana Condor, who was Jubilee, and a couple other people.
Okay. And now jump back to news, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comic news.
All right, comic news.
February solicitors are starting to come out, so there you go.
So first look at DC Universe Holiday Special 2017 #1. Detective Comics 968 brings back more blasts from the past. Talked about that. Jessica Cruz to star in DC Superhero Girls Spaced Out. And DC Superhero Girls is also the first graphic novel to have sold over 100,000 copies.
The first one, it's the same.
First graphic novel has sold over 100,000 copies.
Yeah.
Mirror, Aquaman's wife, Queen, gets her own DC comic series. It's a miniseries, so keep that in mind.
Right. And
the big news, Brian Michael Bendis leaves Marvel, signs exclusive deal with DC Comics.
Wow.
Some would say thank goodness. Some would say no, regardless, because we don't know what he's going to do while he's over there. But
so yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That happened. Yeah.
So just very quickly, what did you guys think of it? I was mildly shocked, but at the same time, I could sense that Bendis may have been on fumes when it came to some of the things he was working on with Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, there's been the sentiments that changes, as people saying change is good and blah blah blah. Sure, I guess that is the case because he gets a new playground to work in, so good for him.
I feel like he just re-signed with Marvel, but at this point, it might have been like 2 years ago.
Right,
because he re-signed. When he took Defenders on, maybe that's when the news first came out. Maybe actually, I might be thinking back. I think he re-signed around All New, whatever, one of the last initiatives for Marvel.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, regardless, there's speculation of what books he might get in, including Justice League, and there are some rumblings of people thinking like, yeah, he'll be the one to get the Fixin' or somebody for. Which I would not want that, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good for him. That's about as bad as I can say for it.
Yeah.
No. Oh well. I guess it begs the question of which I guess is next issue.
Now, yeah.
The next article kind of slightly goes into what happens to the books that he has gone, and it sounds like, which I don't have in the news, that it sounds like he is going to get to wrap up the books that he's doing for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Which he does have like at least 4. You know, hopefully we'll get some people. Oh, actually 5. Excuse me, forgot about that Punisher book. But regardless, hopefully we can get some other writers to take on a couple of those characters that he's leaving.
Hickman teased a DC deal in wake of Bendis' announcement.
Which don't think it was the first time, because there was that rumbling where he, which the article mentions that he had lunch with Jim Lee or something. Yeah, a little while back. So there was speculation around that, and now this is another dangling.
I definitely understand. Hickman needed that kind of break. After planning out like all those arcs of Avengers and whatchamacallit and Secret Wars. So I definitely understood, he needed some time to recharge, and maybe this is something that he needs too.
Yeah. So the thing is that like it could be a good thing and could be a bad thing if indeed both of them, because DC's already been kind of gathering talent from Marvel from the last 2 years, as we know, with a bunch of people have been going over and writing for them pretty exclusively in a couple of different places. So this could be a good time for Marvel to cultivate some up and coming writers, or go into other Wilder Watchers, preferably cultivate some newer voices that could get out there, and not necessarily novelists or celebrities who
or lead singers.
Yeah.
Although the lead singer is doing a good job so far. So
yeah, I mean, like, sure, yeah, that one, yeah, sure. So yeah, like this could be good or bad thing. So some would take it as like, well, Marvel's losing all their talent, or some would say it's like, hey, this is a good thing for Marvel. Like I said, cultivating some new talent.
Alrighty.
At DC Comics, an editor rose through the ranks even after being accused of sexual assault. So if you're in the comics community, this information probably isn't news to you, but it's good to see it getting a larger limelight.
Right, especially with all the other news of sexual harassment charges in throughout Hollywood and places and other places.
Yes. So we'll see what that just happened this evening. We'll see what fallout from that will be come early next week. I'm really curious because we see people like Louis C.K. and
Harvey Weinstein
and the other guy, Kevin Spacey, be taken down by this. So will DC just act like, oh, we're small, people don't pay attention to comics, we'll be fine, basically taking the same stance they've taken the last decade?
Yeah.
Or would they move swiftly this time, finally?
But even, I mean, if they did move swiftly this time, that'd be great. But that still doesn't excuse the last 10 years that they've let this go.
Nope.
So, and with people actually actively talking about it at that, which is, so even if they did it now, it still would be a good thing that happened, but it's still pretty poor.
That's a bad look.
Yeah.
All right. In slightly more pleasant news, DC and Telltale Games team up for a Batman comic.
Not the first time Telltale Games has teamed up with a comic book company for a actual comic book. The Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series also has a book tied to it. I want to say there's another one, but I can't remember. But it's like Christos Gage will be writing it, and the artist is Raphael Lenko.
Okay. All right. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's rumors of a new Superman game by Rocksteady.
And so Rocksteady are the makers of the Batman and Arkham Asylum games. Those games have been pretty good. So a new Superman game by them could be great. And there's never been a real good Superman game, so it can't be any worse.
Right. Injustice 2 gets a PC release date as open beta begins.
Actually, it has began, and in fact, as of tonight, is ending. So it started on the 6th, and I believe it is ending tonight. So
Okay.
so if you can get into it for the last minute at the time that you're watching this, if you're watching this on a Friday night, then hey, try it out. It's a good game. If not, it's coming out soon. So
The Iron Spider's connection to Miles Morales revealed. We did speak about this last week.
right.
Spoiler alert if we're going to go into it.
What is it? It's Miles' uncle, I believe it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, hey, guess what? Spider-Man Homecoming, y'all.
Seriously.
I guess that when I saw the preview pages the Friday before that book came out,
Mm.
you got a guy in a trench coat with a hat on with the lower part of his face exposed, and it was brown skin. I said, that's his uncle.
There you go. There you go. So Kitty Pryde will be fundamentally changed in the next X-Men Gold story.
Yep. So X-Men. Well, so Kitty Pryde. This is also, I guess, I don't know if this is going along with the annual stuff, but apparently she is teaming up with Captain Britain and Megan, and also Rachel Summers and Nightcrawler, and they're going into the negative zone, and that trip is going to change her and apparently a couple of others. So what's going to happen in that storyline? Mark Guggenheim only knows.
Marvel announces a new X-Men Red ongoing. So more color-coded books.
I know, right? But in this case, it's color-encoded for the person who is the lead in it.
Right. So the lead is, spoiler alert,
which is funny also.
The resurrected, yeah, exactly. The soon-to-be resurrected Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm. The adult Jean Grey, because we also have
that's right.
Blue, that young Jean Grey is heading up. So
Goodness.
As far as I know, still heading up. But I don't know. I don't read the book.
All right, goodness gracious. Alrighty. Lockjaw reunites with his family in a solo series. Oh, look at Lockjaw.
Look at him. Look at him.
He's a good dog. He's a good.
I know, right?
I'm forgetting what Kamala says in one of his.
I know, right?
Bizarro doggy. Bizarro doggy. That's it.
Bizarro doggy. Nice. So yeah, apparently, he is not the only transporting dog that we've previously thought is around, and he's going to be looking for his family, and he's going to have a surprising companion in the form of D-Man.
What?
Yeah, for some strange reason.
Hold on.
I read that and I was like, wait, what?
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, look forward to that. Daniel Kibblesmith, who wrote for The Late Show and had some other book, is writing.
He's writing the Valiant book, Quantum and Woody.
Oh right, he's doing a new. That's right. Okay, forgot about that.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So Mark Millar's first Netflix comic is a fantasy crime series with Olivier Coipel. Oh, getting in the big guns.
Seems interesting. I mean, Netflix now owns Millar World, so hey.
Yeah, so just very quickly, the first line of the blurb is: writer Mark Millar will be joined by artist Olivier Coipel for The Magic Order, the first Millar World comic project to be published by Netflix, combining elements of fantasy and crime thrillers.
Yeah, seems interesting.
Okay. Real life Iron Man sets a Guinness World Record for what? For flying.
Yes. Which looks more like Boba Fett than Iron Man, but okay.
All right. Coming soon, Black Panther, Funko Pop line. Yeah, you knew it was coming. You know, with the movie coming out soon, you knew there were going to be some Funko Pops based upon it.
Well, more we should say, because yes, there are already, I believe, two pops with and of course the keychain.
Mm-hmm.
With Black Panther, but this is a whole other line. So you got plushies, you got more Doors line,
more press, yeah.
Yeah, you got more glow in the dark, and of course they're going to be throwing exclusive this, that, and the other, and of course a whole bunch more keychains.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like
and
the highlight for the
the glow in the dark stuff is pretty cool. And of course more pops, which includes Black Panther, Killmonger, and Shuri, Nakia, and I think Okoye's got one too.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so there's going to end a couple of glow in the dark variants for a couple of them. No Queen Ramonda, but it's okay.
All right. And the last story
versions.
Gotcha. And our last story for the night is something I referenced earlier. The Black Panther Marvel Legends Wave 1 set of 6 with the Okoye Build-A-Figure is up for pre-order on all the major toy websites. No, we're not plugging one, so I'm just going to rattle off Big Bad Toy Store, Dorkside Toys, and Amazon.com, who is a sponsor of our show and our network.
As soon as I saw the email, I promptly went ahead and ordered.
Right, mine is pre-ordered as well. I think the toy stores are going to have theirs out a little sooner than Amazon, but ultimately this stuff is going to be in our possession soon. I'm looking forward to this set. How about you, Roddy Cat?
Oh, most definitely. Oh, one thing to note about the Funko Pop set, those are coming starting in January.
There you go. Yeah, that's the lead up to the film. Yep, that's the lead up to the film.
Which I forgot to mention that. But yes, I am absolutely going to get this this Marvel Legends set because the Build-A-Figure, as we said, is Okoye and a couple more Black Panther figures that I am already set for.
I mean, that is cool that you can actually put together like 2 of the Dora Milaje in this. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they could get something dumb and dopey, but they did not.
They can double as the comic versions too, because it's not like they're going to be all that different. So, you know, unlike, you know, you can have like a comic book Black Panther costume, you know, as opposed to the movie one, but it's really not all that different either. It's just more textured. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the set. I know that you're not so keen on the Namor, but
not so keen on the Namor or the Iron Man.
The Iron Man's not necessary to build Okoye. That's the thing. So that's cool. You can actually leave Iron Man out. But the Namor thing, we haven't had a Speedo Namor, so I'm glad that we're getting a Speedo Namor. He's old school.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and with that, do we have any unboxings? Anybody?
No.
All right.
Oh, actually, there is one thing I wanted to bring up though, real quick. So I don't know if you got this, or Tim, but apparently, if you go to your comic store, could have this nice big behind value stamp book from Marvel. Right. As you can see, if you're watching the video, this Joker is kind of big, and on the back it has you can find value legacy stamps in all of these issues that are listed here. I believe they're not actual physical. At least I haven't seen in the issues that I have, because I know.
Yeah, they are. Here's the stamp right here.
I did not see that, but then again, maybe I don't have a book that it's in yet, or I thought I did have one. Anyway, regardless, so yeah, because I was thinking, because the last couple of months they've been touting those that Quip app with the digital stamps,
right?
And I thought it was that. So good to know. It can be confirmed. But the inside of it, as you can see, is
oh wow,
you can put said stamps once you rip them out of your book and lower the value of it. And it also comes with some that are already
entered
put in for you. So yeah, if you happen to be at a store that has this and you are fancy collecting stamps, which I'm not ashamed to say that I used to be, but you can check that out.
Cool.
Yeah, I did not see that. Done by Mike McCone, and I think that, yes, Marvel used to do this like years back, but they stopped. As a matter of fact, I think when I was wee little, it says here, they said from 74 to 76, they used to do it basically. So
sure enough. All right. So again, we have reached the end of our show. Let me get ad read in before we wrap up. This episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles is sponsored by Busted Tees, your home for funny, awesome, cool t-shirts that are sure to get your friends' attention. Busted Tees puts many of their popular shirt designs on sale each week. Choose from several eye-catching t-shirts inspired by pop culture, cleverly themed t-shirts inspired by movies, video games, TV shows, comic books, and geek culture, and much more are all on sale. To help keep our podcast free, order from Busted Tees by going to cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Click on the Busted Tees banner and then shop for awesome t-shirts. Busted Tees through cspn.us. Do it today.
I was going to say this shirt I have on was from Busted Tees, but I don't think it is. Regardless, hey, check out my shirt.
Ha ha. Cool.
Which I will probably be wearing at the premiere of Black Panther.
There you go. Take us home, Tim.
And I will take any stamps that any of you don't want. Just putting that out there. Oh, Tim stepped away.
I'm back. I'm typing something up that I probably shouldn't be typing, but can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So doing something for CBR right quick, because Andrew Kreisberg, the executive producer of all the DC shows.
Oh no.
Spoiler alert.
Suspended over sexual harassment allegations.
Ooh.
The plot thickens.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, what I usually do at this point.
Take us home. Take us
Follow
home.
us on our individual Twitter accounts. I'm at TimDOGG98 and at CBCron.
Ka-ching! I'm trying to get to the soundboard because my soundboard like adjusted on me just now. Here we go. Scroll up to the cash register. There you go.
I am at TimDOGG98 and at CBCron. Radicat is at Radicat and at News Nerds Needs. Let me get those off him. There we go. And Agent 70 is at Agent_70 on Twitter and Instagram. And not on the show, but still in our hearts and our minds is at PCN_Dirt. And go to his website, popculturenetwork.com.
We miss you, Dirt.
A little liquor.
So next week is Justice League. I'm sure we'll have some reaction to that.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see it opening night.
Oh, yeah. I already have my ticket.
I don't have mine yet. I got to figure it out.
Yeah, I need to buy mine too.
Because I got dope seats now.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
So,
We'll be sure to talk about that next week, probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
most definitely. So with that, we are the Comic Book Chronicles, and we are signing off.
Peace.
Yo, who gets the gas face?